What's going on, everyone? My name is Jake, this is where I talk tunes, and today we have to talk about the Kneecap situation. Because off the back of all the madness, off the back of Mokara catching a charge for terrorism based off of something that happened at a gig over 2 years ago, after Kneecap put out a statement where they claimed they do not support Hezbollah or Hamas, purely because saying they do so in the UK can catch you a terrorism charge, which they once again did after the numerous think pieces and articles and everything around a band who are simply standing on their principles, keeping their foot on the necks of Zionists and making sure that we remember who they are and know exactly the evil that Zionism is. Today, as I record, they have been pulled from Trnsmt. For those unaware, Irish hip-hop trio Kneecap have been making headlines kinda everywhere recently. They threw up Fuck Israel behind themselves at Coachella. They, obviously made headlines last year with their incredible movie, which, realistically, let's be real, should have been at least nominated for some Oscars. I think some questions have to be asked as to why it wasn't nominated for some Oscars. Possibly related to, I don't know, that horrible, awful ideology beginning with a Z. But they've just kept on going, kept on touring, kept on performing. However, recently, Mokara, one of the members of Kneecap, was recently charged with terrorism under the UK's anti-terror laws for waving a Hezbollah flag at a gig back in 2023, as well as the the band's sort of historic chants of kill Tories and things like that. People losing their fucking minds all over an anti-Zionist and pro-Palestinian band. Well, as mentioned today, the news came out they had been pulled from the Trnsmt lineup. They were originally supposed to be one of the bigger acts on Friday the 11th of July at Trnsmt. Now, I said at the time when the lineup was announced and the dates were announced, that Kneecap on the 11th of July or anywhere on that weekend throughout the entire run of that weekend, with Trnsmt being held over the 12th of July weekend, was going to be a problem. It was obviously going to be a problem, and I said at the time I wasn't entirely sure that Kneecap actually were going to make the festival because of things like police concerns and bullshit like that. But I think with all the media storm around Kneecap just now, it's given Trnsmt the out they would have been looking for regardless. That would have caused problems no matter what with them being on that weekend, but I think Trnsmt have now, really showed themselves to be spineless cowards in the fact they've pulled them from this in the midst of this media storm surrounding the band. I would assume there was a post to Trnsmt's social medias, but fuck them. I'm just going to show the post from Kneecap's social media announcing this. With a post on social media, they said, in speech marks here, in quotation marks, due to concerns expressed by the police about the safety at the event, Kneecap can no longer perform at Trnsmt. Kneecap then went on to say, to the thousands of people who had bought tickets, flights and hotels to see us play, we are sorry, it's out of our hands. Glasgow has always been a huge city for us. We've played there many, many times with no issues ever. Make of that what you will. To try and make up for it, we'll be at the O2 Academy on Tuesday, July the 8th, with pre-sale going up through their WhatsApp channel tomorrow, or this morning by the time you see this video, and the general sale going up on Saturday, with a lovely poster for the show, to promote the show. Now, the Kneecap situation has been getting out of hand pretty much since Coachella. Sharon Osbourne saying they should have their visas revoked, and right-wing people, as always, going insane over the fact that, funnily enough, artists are outspokenly left-wing. However, this is fucking disgusting. The fact that Trnsmt have pulled them from this event. And realistically, I have said I thought Trnsmt would pull them regardless because of the day that Trnsmt foolishly fucking booked them on. However, it's spineless, it's soulless, and it's just, again, the UK government has done nothing for years under the Tories, and again under the Red Tories now, to punish the arts and to crush the arts. Arresting musicians for making political statements when we are literally witnessing a genocide happen before our very eyes. I open Twitter and I see Palestinian hospitals being bombed and women and children and babies being set on fire and being shot at point blank range by snipers, and I see IDF soldiers dancing and mocking the horrors that they are committing, and we are villainising and we are demonising people for being on the right side of history. For what reason? For what reason? Because Israel is apparently an ally. Well, the UK continues to fund terror in the Middle East and innocent Palestinians are murdered on a daily basis. This is what everyone is telling us we should be upset about. We should be upset at the people who were the balaclavas and say, fuck the Tories. That's who we should actually be worried about, and not the people murdering innocent children and civilians. It's fucking ludicrous. After the news, however, 2000 Trees did come out to confirm that Kneecap will still be headlining the Thursday of their festival this July. And, Kneecap have also clarified that they didn't pull out of Trnsmt. Kneecap were removed from Trnsmt. This decision was taken out of their hands. This was not a decision made by them. And I just think this is crazy because so many people were going to that for them. And I think just pushing them off and taking these decisions out of their hands and doing things like this, demonising them, will only bring more public support to them. The way the UK government have handled all this shit with Kneecap, and the way they've treated them, and the way they've, brought a terror charge against a member of a band for waving a fucking flag is insane, because where does it stop? What's next? A lot of Tory MPs and even red Tory MPs were bringing up the whole thing of they talk about killing MPs and things like that, and they talked about the murder of actual murders of MPs that have happened over the past few years. Clarkson and Farage and all these weird right-wingers have talked about going to your local MP's house with a shotgun because the farmers are going to get taxed more on their big multi-million pound farms, and we've not said anything about that. But whenever it is left-wing young people that have the heart of the young people, that have the heart of the youth, that are rebelling against a system that is openly using our money to fund genocide, that's where they draw the line. That's fucking crazy. It's a complete overstep of a government that's been nothing but ineffectual and full of nonsense and just pandered to all the worst people. The party of the workers siding, falling on the side of fascism with every passing day is an irony that's not lost on me. History will not be kind to Zionists. History will not be kind to red Tories. And fuck everyone involved in this decision. Fuck everyone that supports this decision. Art is meant to be controversial. Art is meant to make you feel things. And doing this will only make it better for Kneecap. Doing this will only drive more eyes and more ears to Kneecap. Doing this will only get more eyes and more ears on the messages that Kneecap are spreading, the messages of solidarity with Palestinians, the messages of love and peace and freedom, and stopping the killing of innocent civilians, which is, I guess, a crazy, insane take. Yeah. As always, all credits to Kneecap for always standing behind their beliefs. As well, all credit to the O2 Academy for I don't necessarily open up a date. They obviously would have had that date free, but all credit for the O2 Academy, or to the O2 Academy, for putting on this show with the notice that was given. If you're one of the people coming over for Trnsmt who now can't see Kneecap, if you're also unable to make it to this show on the 8th, I do feel sorry for you. This is going to have a major backlash on Trnsmt going forward. It was a foolish idea to put them on when you've booked the festival for the weekend of the 12th of July regardless, but you could have just put them on the Sunday and then have not be on the 11th or the 12th, and you avoid all this nonsense. But realistically, this was a lose-lose situation for Kneecap. If the current media storm wasn't happening around Kneecap and they played the 11th, there would have been bother. Certain people would have made a bigger deal out of it. I would imagine some people who enjoy a wee shaky hand and a flute would have kicked up fuck, probably would have started some fights over some songs being sung in Irish on their big special day, because they are a people. And Trnsmt and the mainstream media and whoever books Trnsmt at DF, or no, whoever people involved in these decisions, would have used that as a way to demonise and vilify Kneecap. Police Scotland would have used it as a way to demonise and vilify Kneecap, inciting them as the cause of the bother, and not the poor planning and not the fucking nonsense of putting them on these days, and now pulling them because of police safety issues and things like that. Maybe I hazard a guess that maybe a lot of Police Scotland will be off on the 11th. They'll be celebrating, so maybe there wouldn't be enough people to police the city with Kneecap and the marches on at the same day. But regardless of whatever outcome of this was going to happen, it was going to be lose-lose for Kneecap in terms of playing Trnsmt. There was no good outcome to this Trnsmt decision. The worst one came a music festival falling on the side of a slowly but surely turning tide of fascism in government. That's really, really fun. It's really fun and really gross, and I don't see a bad thing coming from this. I don't see this as a sign of things to come. I don't see this as something we should be worried about. They're really fun. But once again, my hat goes off to 2000 Trees for sticking by and sticking to their principles of having Kneecap booked. It'll be interesting to see if any other festivals pull Kneecap from the bill this summer amidst the media storm of it all. But, you know, you never know. We'll have to wait and see. But it's just, it's a gross thing that's happened. And as you can tell, I clearly didn't have very many notes for this. I just came on here to speak my mind on this topic because it's bullshit and it's disgusting. And I hope everyone involved in that decision chokes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this situation down in the comments down below. Once again, guys, my name is Jake. This is where I talk tunes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Fuck all Zionists. Zionists die slow.